Everyone but a newborn child has acquired some skills, which they put to work, practice and perfect during a lifetime. This is a natural process which brings rich rewards in personal satisfaction, or if the skill is sold on the labour market, it brings financial rewards. The learning process is knowledge or skill being transferred from the teacher to the learner. In the old days, the skill transfer was formalised in a personal way, the way the apprentice learned from the master craftsman, the apprentice then becoming a craftsman himself. In the home, daughters learned from mothers, sons from fathers. In today's technological world, new skills must be learned much faster. The training should be well planned and professional.
Okay, what's the course now?
Training other people is a skill in itself. Organising and planning an entire training programme for a company or on board ship requires a multitude of skills applied to serve the required knowledge transfer at any given time. The ship's officer in charge of training on board, who has all the required skills of training, can train, as well as act as a catalyst between the training resources and the individual training needs. The task is rewarding and the process exciting if the ability to help this knowledge and skill transfer along is exercised in a creative way. Storms at sea are not exactly unforeseen events. Breaking a limb as a result of a storm is more unexpected, unlucky certainly, but it is almost invariably caused by failing to observe safe procedures, by not taking the right precautions. Operational failure due to an avoidable personal injury or a minor error due to lack of training at a critical moment can develop a minor misfortune into a serious disaster.
Yes, Chief, what has happened?
Yes, Captain, we have the engine failure. I don't know, maybe for 1 hour...
For a ship to be helpless, not under command, in a storm, and drifting towards a rocky coastline, will not only test any seafarer's steadfastness and motivation to serve, but will also put the shipping company at risk of heavy losses financially. All because of a small omission on someone's part, someone who may need to be trained in safe and efficient basic practices of safety at work.
Hotel Papa Stefan is calling Palma Radio. Do read, over.
Nautilus, Nautilus, this is Palma Radio, this is Palma Radio. Go ahead.
My main engine breakdown. The ship is not under command. The ship is not under command. My position...
Of course, this is an extreme scenario, but one which is all too familiar in shipping circles. In all circumstances, well-trained employees are safer, more effective, more profitable to employ, and are therefore representing a greater asset value to a company. This is where the officer in charge of training on board, usually the chief mate, comes onto the scene. But before that, one or two things should be in place, starting with the company's strategic policy on training.
So I want to open today's board meeting.
There are at least 3 good reasons why a company's executives should formulate a robust training policy for their own business. Continually changing legal requirements around the world make it essential. The safety of their employees, their ships and their customers' cargo demands it. And by increasing their employees' knowledge and skills, they improve their company's performance and service to customers, creating a competitive edge for their company. The employees themselves will appreciate the improvement in terms of their own safety and career development. Good company training begins in the boardroom, because unless senior management fully understands their key role in promoting good training in the company and fully fund the exercise, training is likely to be a case of simply going through the motions.
Okay, thanks, I will take care of it, and I believe the Nautilus will be coming in soon, and we already can start with the Nautilus appointing one of these officers on board there.
All right.
Whether or not the company sends a specialist trainer, the officers on board ship will need to be involved in the training. In this case, the chief mate from the ship has been put in charge of training, and he is consulting management on training policy and obtaining new resources for use on board ship.
This book here might give you a head for practical training on board.
Oh, I see. Well, it's a video tell book. Yes. Gentlemen, we've got to implement the company's new training policy. Now, some of it...
The master and the chief engineer now discuss with the chief mate in charge of training the best way to implement the company's training policy on board ship, taking account of the immediate needs as they arise on each journey. In any case, good training begins with good preparation work and good research. Both begin with a thorough discussion with the master and the department heads on board to assess who needs training, who are available as trainers, what skills they can pass on, and what other training resources exist on board. Based on initial discussions, the chief mate prepares an inventory of all the resources available to him, checking that they're in working order, and if necessary, requesting their maintenance and repair.
As well as in our
He now has a good idea of what is at his disposal and how it can be improved or expanded for future use in the onboard training program. Now a plan can be drawn up, coordinating the availability of people who can train, the people who need training, and the resources most appropriate for each exercise, all within the available time, depending on sailing schedules, tours of duty, and so on. The chief mate is, of course, a serving officer on the ship, so his own work schedule will determine how much time he is able to spend on organizing all this. In a word, the resources must be matched to needs.
We'll have to cut this one. Yeah. Re-splice it. Take June and Ike. Yeah. And teach them how to do a splice. Okay. We're not certain.
The plan must now be put into operation. To achieve this, the chief mate will discuss the objectives with those on board who've been identified as able to provide, so that they can work their new responsibilities into their daily schedules. Once this has been achieved, the real training can begin.
We'll just run through the various parts of the breathing apparatus, the important pieces.
Not everyone has the natural gift of good communication. Sometimes a little self-confidence building exercise may be required for the sea staff who are asked to provide training. A thorough knowledge of their subjects, combined with some good preparation work, will soon help to overcome any initial anxiety. Starting with small groups also helps. Often there's no need to stand in front of people. The sessions could start with sitting with the group and an informal discussion. Involve your audience. Encourage them to contribute. In most cases, confidence grows with practice.
The mask is in basically two pieces. The demand valve...
Those aspects which are fulfilling legal requirements should be tackled first, such as emergency procedures and environmental protection measures. Then those which require group training, such as operational processes or health and safety issues. Finally, functional skills, which help each individual to attain a higher classification in their chosen profession. Both the master and the training officer should be seen to take an interest in the progress of each trainee. Nothing motivates more than being appreciated for effort. Progress must be checked against schedules so that problem areas can be identified early enough and extra help provided if need be. Records must be kept for each individual, as they may be required by law, such as for training in the handling of hazardous materials, or the records may be needed for certification or progress reports to head office. The book, published by Videotel, Training on Board, has several sample forms which may be used at each stage by the training officer in his overall program.
See it again?
At the end of the training program, the chief mate talks to the trainees as well as to the trainers to obtain feedback by which to measure the outcome.
Well, that was the first training program more or less finished. Anybody got any suggestions how we can improve the next one?
The end of a voyage probably means the end of a training program for some trainees who may be posted elsewhere or be going on leave. For the chief mate, it is time for his own performance assessment. How did the program work out? Where can future programs be improved? Has the new equipment been sent?
What about you?
Is it working as expected?
I think
What new training resources may be needed in future?
And all other things was okay.
Bosun, crew side?
It's very important that accurate records of the training programs undertaken by everyone are kept, and where appropriate, certificates are issued to help the cadets or seamen progress in their careers. For the individual, this is the immediate reward for his or her extra effort, and for the company, they serve as proof of effective implementation of their training policies.
Look after it.
To this end, performance reports and accident reports should be sent to head office for evaluation, as they should indicate clearly the beneficial influence on ship operations. Some people will probably be given new responsibilities on the next voyage, as both they and the company start to reap the benefits of their training. The newcomers on board will represent a new challenge for the training officer. For the newcomers, the voyage itself and the training opportunities which can be created for each of them will represent a new challenge. Such opportunities should be fully exploited for the benefit of everyone concerned. This process, like time, never stops. The book, Training on Board, contains a lot of helpful information and guidance to successful training for officers new to the training process. It may prove to be a handy reference book when planning any on-board training program.